look ugly, bro.
They all right. So for a pair of all black, all black Adidas's
Yeah,
in that silhouette, like, nah, it's a pass for me. But
I gotta say it, bro. Adidas does not make like decent uh shoes for sneakerheads. Like you got Yeezy, which are certain variations are fire. Like I really do like the Wave Runners. I think they're like a classic silhouette. I think he could have done way more with colorways and stuff.
yeah,
But I don't know.
even did you So Pharrell actually just came out with, and I'll see if I can share it too once once we get to that. But he just came out with some human races. They look
Right.
honestly just like
I saw
Yeezy.
them.
Yeah, they
You
look
talking about
just.
the ones that are like kind of peach color? I don't know if they're peach color, but they're like
Uh,
tan.
I saw them in blue, in like all blue with like an
Oh
orange.
no, I saw the one that was a tan. I think it was released like last week.
Oh
It
no,
was
no,
like
no.
it was on that page when like Easy Day was going down. It
Yeah,
was on the
yeah,
screen.
not those.
Yeah,
Not he just came out with something else. Like I think only like
exactly.
I've only seen it through like YouTubers having them. He sends out like certain
Right.
things to certain people, and from those, like I was like, yo, I actually kind of like them, but they look like a cross between like the 450s and like the 380s.
Yeah. What I do like about Adidas, I guess, is like they're very open to like artist collaboration, which is
That's
cool.
true.
But I
That's
feel
true.
like I feel like it's to a fault sometimes because some of
Yeah,
these people with their ideas,
it's too
bro,
wild.
like it's like, bro, what were you thinking of when
It
you
is
created
definitely
this
too
sneaker,
wild.
bro? Like
And
human races are fire though, but
but that's
I
because
do
it's
like
all
that.
Pharrell though too. Like it's not
No,
like
for
he's
sure.
trying to like with the Bad Bunny collab. Like I feel like they're just kind of throwing stuff onto like lifestyle shoes that nobody really liked, and
Yeah,
just
nah.
hoping the name carries it.
It's not the same though, because you got like I feel like when everyone makes customs with Nike, they always touch a Jordan silhouette,
For
and it
sure.
either hits or misses. And I feel like that's the big plus is you got that Jordan. Like Jordan's going to resell regardless. Like these lifestyle Adidas, they're not gonna. I don't know. It's like a hit or miss.
Out there. That's true. That's very true. All right, but
But how you feeling about these? What they call the Air Jordan 1 Pollens coming out this week?
so I really like the Pollens. I think the
Yeah.
yellow is actually going to be better than most people say because it's like a dull like. It's to me, it's honestly not even like the Steelers like yellow. It's like a little bit dark or like a duller yellow
Right.
than that. And I think it's
Yeah.
gonna pop on certain colors because no matter what, Jordans in yellow they always do well. Like resale market wise, they've
I'm
always.
feeling them too, just because like what I've seen in like early release photos and like
Mhm.
people showing them on YouTube is like they're all leather, which is something I really like too.
Yeah,
From like variations, you kind of get a little bit of a leather, mostly on the toe box sometimes, but this is
Mhm.
like all throughout. So I feel like the resale gonna be crazy for these.
Now I
I
think
feel like they're gonna be one of the top shoes this year for sure.
for sure they definitely. Oh, it's a Jordan 1, so regardless,
But I'm
people
saying
gonna
there's been so many ones released this
exactly.
year alone. I feel like, but that's got to be in like the top five
I think
conversation
in
for
this year
sure.
alone, we're probably gonna. I think towards the end of the Then we get one more. They get the starfishes, the lows. They just dropped on sneakers. I think
Yeah,
that's gonna come out.
did
I
they come out
think,
with the fours earlier, right? The stuff.
yeah, the fours is gonna come out. I think the start of next month, and then
Yeah,
you get like three more pairs of ones around Christmas time.
because don't you get? I don't know if it's the pollen variation, but it's some of the fours where it's like the yellow and black as well.
Nah, it's the Thunders. It's the Thunders.
The thunders. Yeah, those
Yeah,
are clean. I, ain't gonna
yeah,
lie. I
dude.
need those.
I'm hoping I could count. I hope I haven't hit on sneakers confirmed.
You
Any
haven't hit on stickers
rappers.
at all.
I haven't hit on sneakers. The last time I hit on sneakers was Racer Blue, the Racer Blue threes. And to be
Wow.
honest, I didn't like them, so I just canceled it. And ever since
Uh-huh.
then, I haven't hit on anything.
That's why.
I think it's because I
said, bro,
canceled.
they said this man won't buy the raffle. They said, bro, we ain't let you hit no
They
more.
canceled me,
That's
bro.
crazy.
So I'm hoping my account get lucky, but
Yeah.
those
I don't know how. I've been hitting like a lot recently.
Really?
I'm
when you're on the high
confused.
streak
Like,
though, they say like it keeps going. So hopefully
yeah.
the Travis one lows.
But I also got like a few people in the house where they'll be like, bro, I'm not feeling this shoe this day. You feeling it? I'll be like, yeah, I'm feeling it. And one of us is gonna hit. Hopefully. I pray.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Try
To the
for
sneaker
the,
gods.
did you try for the seafoam?
No, I didn't try. I didn't like them, to be honest with you.
Really?
Not that I didn't like them. I felt like they just needed to grow on me. Like I'm the type of person where I feel like certain silhouettes and certain colorways, I just got to see them on someo's feet first for me to like really fall in love.
Yeah, I definitely.
Because the pictures with it, I didn't really like the laces with it, like that orange lacing. I wasn't in love with it.
So
But I know Jordans come with different lacing, so
so I actually didn't mind it. I just wish they would have put more like more orange in the sneaker, if that makes sense. Like no other orange in the sneaker, so it just kind of came out of the blue when you threw the orange in there, if that makes sense.
So I don't know if you know, like before the Hyper Royals, there was like I don't know what it was called, but there was like a green colorway with it. So it was like the Hyper Royal texture, but it was like
so I don't know.
Green, I think it came out the year before.
Hyper Royals, there was like I don't know what it was called. There was like
a green colorway. No, you good.
So it's like the Hyper Royal texture. It was like I think it's because I have it. My bad, it's because I had it on the line.
No, you're good. But that was crazy. I felt like it looked similar to that, like that colorway, that silhouette. But I just like how the Hyper Royals look with like that faded colorway. So I kind of like those over this variation of the Seafoams. Like I'd rather, if I could get my hands on a colorway like that, I'd get my hands on those.
I think was it Hyper Royals came out around. Was it also part of that release that I missed?
I don't think so. I think it was like last year. It came out kind of like the Hyper Royal.
Okay.
It wasn't blue, but it was that seafoam color. But it was just like the Hyper Royal texture.
Yeah, that's one I definitely missed out on because I definitely didn't even. I don't even remember.
Yeah, no, they were fire. I was like, bro, these shits is clean. I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of stuck with sneakers these days. Like. I like the ones. Like ones have really came a long way, but I feel like with Jordan Brand, they kind of like stay stagnant with other numbers, other variations of their Jordans. Like,
I wish they would make it
fours. That's it. Like my favorite silhouette is a 3. Like I wish they did more with 3s. I know like the sneaker of the year this year is the 3.
Yeah.
That
the
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean. That's cool, but you saw like once you add luxury to that sneaker, like it's like the perfect sneaker.
It's a different shoe. It's a completely different shoe. Even when they did the Tinker Hatfield 3s, and they came out with the light tan joints with the I forgot what that kind of that leather kind of feel is for the laces, but Jordan 3s, I feel like the market for them is more like sneakerheads versus like hype, and that's why they don't really do too much with it, which is cool.
Ones is just like anybody wants ones. Anybody wants
exactly.
Ones, I don't know. I just feel like 3s is so versatile, though.
3s is
so
like,
versatile.
You can
wear them with anything. Like
anything. It's just too easy of a versatile 3. And I think, funny enough, one of my favorite colorways is the Carmelo Anthony PE, his personal. When they had the Nuggets version.
Yeah,
it was like one of the cleanest.
Carmelo got some shoes on the low. Like Carmelo slept on.
Carmelo's PEs was one of the best when that old school sky blue with the yellow. Like I miss those old school colors that the teams used to have because everybody now tries to go for a more menacing kind of like color scheme and darker colors with the league. And it's just not. It's not the same coloration when it comes to sneakers anymore. It's like even I think with the Raptors. With the or with the Red Thunders that's supposed to be coming out.
You saw they coming out with the Raptor 7s though.
Yeah, they come out with Raptor 7s again.
Bro, I'm gonna say something, bro. I've never liked 7s, bro.
Really?
I don't know what it is.
Really?
It's just me personally. Don't kill me, but like I feel like 7s. Where I'm from in like South Jersey, like 7s was such a fat guy shoe. Like if you was because the material is soft, I feel like it's not leather based.
It's definitely
I feel like so many bigger people like they balled in 7s. So I was from, it was kind of like
that's true.
Yeah, for sure.
For a wider foot, and
for sure.
To be completely honest, the first ever shoe I camped out for, like outside, it's the craziest story. Me and my cousin, we took my uncle's car, like 11 something. Literally snuck out the house, got the car, picked up one of his friends, went to Willowbrook on, like camped out, and that was the first time I've ever camped out for a shoe. I literally
the Bordeaux's?
Nah, for the Olympic 7s. Literally just
bad.
Olympic 7.
I know. The Olympic 7 pack. Yeah.
That was my favorite shoe. It was not the one.
I'm not saying I hate all 7s. It's just like if I had a choice between the numbers.
It's not one of your favorites.
Like I like 6s. I like 6s a lot. I got the Lakers 6s. Yeah, I got the Lakers 6s. I got the Carmines. My Lakers 6s. I love my Lakers 6s.
Like, do you just got the recent re-up on Carmine, or you
I
got
got the recent ones. I don't got the previous ones.
So,
Listen, I was too broke that I feel like what. I ain't gonna hold you.
I ain't have it
Everybody
either.
was rocking shoes, bro.
Me neither.
I was holding back tears when I was seeing people in all these new Jordans like I couldn't afford.
That was I think that was a Christmas time shoe too. I think that was around
Yeah.
Christmas when that dropped.
Nah, Carmine's. I remember when they released them when we were in high school. Like I was sick.
Yeah, that was the one that I wish I could have got. I think I got I had saved up and I got the Galaxy Kobe's for that drop. For that.
Okay.
Still heartbroken the day I had to let those go. Those were my favorite shoes, bro.
Listen, I was so happy when I reached a 9.5. Cause my stepdad, he had all the shoes. Like he had the Lakers 6s in the closet up there. He had which one? He had the cement 3s. You know, like the red and blue trim on them.
Okay.
I was just like, I was wearing all them things to school, man. I thought I was somebody with it. I ain't gonna lie.
When you can do it, you can do it. And I wish I had somebody with it. I did not.
Bro, let's get into basketball, bro.
Yeah,
I know you're a Lakers fan, so let's just talk about the move. Like, how you feeling about the trend? A lot of people, I've been watching a lot of sports TV lately, and they've been talking about how the Lakers got older, which means they got worse.
So
I feel like they're trying to accomplish their goal, which is winning a championship, and being older doesn't necessarily matter for that goal. I feel like,
exactly.
I feel like it could help. Is what I'm saying with all that experience.
Exactly. Experience is never a bad thing. I think more times people are trying to say it's like harmful for, and I agree to it to some extent, as far as like longevity for the whole season. Is everybody going to be able to make it?
No, for sure.
And I get that.
I don't think you guys are going to be in the top 2 seeds for sure. I think you guys might be 3 or 4.
It's gonna, because we're gonna have to rely on a lot of young pieces to carry the load for the regular season. But that's fine.
But I don't think it's gonna be much load management like people think. Like I really don't. I really don't. Like I don't know. I don't.
It's gonna be like
obviously I can't speak on injuries because nobody knows what happens. But
for sure,
yeah, I can't see.
So
Melo or LeBron sitting out. Like
exactly, I don't see that happening. I don't see it being like taking games off or doing stuff like that. I think it's going to come with time, like building out perfect time for them to be on the court and then for them to get
for sure
during the game.
Like I can see I can see LeBron maybe taking a back seat, certain game, letting Melo start one or something like that. Like when he does get tired or something. But I can't see.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can't see them taking their foot off the gas.
It's just not going to work, especially with the cohesion. This is a brand new team. They're going to need to get time in together. It's just not going to be able to have them not all play. Yeah,
but I think it helps also. And like the Clippers are not going to be as formidable as they were, especially with Kawhi sitting out. He's going to be sitting out for most of the season, if not all of it.
Exactly. So there's going to be
like that helps, but I just think it's those young teams that are still together. Like I feel like they're still going to be like that 1 or 2. Like the Nuggets are definitely still going to be 1 or 2.
I mean, Jamal I feel like looking good. He's looking like
that's what I'm saying. Like for sure. And you got Joker. Like, come on, man. That's if not one of the best little bigs in the league, tandem wise.
You know who I actually think is going to be scary in that I'm not the biggest fan of D'Lo, to be completely honest. I think his game is
really.
I like his game. I think it's not great when it comes down to
team basketball, or
when it comes down to team ball, like trying to will a team to a victory kind of thing. I think they're better off putting the ball in Cat's hands and letting it kind of play out versus in D'Lo's hand and letting D'Lo kind of play off the ball kind of thing. But I think honestly, Minnesota low key can be a good team, but they definitely gonna need like some type of extra piece in the trade deadline just to make.
But let me tell you something that people aren't talking about though. Like, if Minnesota doesn't become that, I feel like they're definitely on a timetable. Like if they don't, is this when we start discussing that maybe it wasn't Wiggins, maybe it was Cat? Like, because that was the whole discussion. Like, it's Cat's team. Well, you got rid of Wiggins. Wiggins proved he could be a good piece. He's not the main piece, but he could be a good piece to a Golden State team. So is that like maybe Cat can't be that guy? Like after a couple seasons like this?
I actually meant to. Wiggins hasn't gotten signed yet, right? Or is he still?
I don't know. I don't believe he has, but I'm not sure if he's still in limbo. Is he still in contract? I think.
I thought he was a free agent at the end of the year.
If he was restricted. I think because I'm pretty sure they're using him as a trade piece.
I thought so too, but because I know they had let why am I forgetting his name right now? Oh no, he's under contract till next year. Or
yeah, that's what I thought.
2023.
Because they're using him as a trade piece right now. They're trying to get between Ben and Damian. I don't think either are gonna happen, but
man,
we've seen crazier things this offseason.
At some point we gotta talk about Ben Simmons, man. Because
for sure, we can get into it right now.
Bro, what is up with man? Like, ever since that one play in the playoffs where he literally passed up a wide open dunk, bro.
Yeah,
I'm questioning does the man even want to play basketball? Like, at first I was giving it like maybe it's in his head. I feel like his shot is there, but now you're passing up open dunks, open layups.
Yeah.
Going 0 for 12 in like 3 games in the fourth quarter.
I think some people are asking the wrong question though. It's not does he want to play basketball? It's does he want to play basketball in Philly? True. I think him and Joel, I really don't think they mesh very well like people think on the scenes.
Yeah.
And I think I think people kind of like forget his worth a little bit. Like he's still a great player, even if he's not that guy in the postseason. Like it kind of remind me of Russ a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like Russ is a great player during the regular season. He doesn't necessarily disappear in the off season, but it becomes a little scarce. You know what I mean? Like, unless he's going at Dame Lillard. But besides that, like,
that is true.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like he maybe needs to be surrounded by a couple more superstars that he could gel with, though.
That is true.
I don't know. I feel like
it's almost like the Fultz effect too at that point.
For sure.
Markel,
him and Cat got a relationship, don't they?
Yeah, him and Cat. They do want to play with him.
So I don't know. Maybe Minnesota could be a great place for Ben that people aren't talking about. I know they're talking about there's talks of him going to the Kings.
I think it was the Kings, Warriors, and then there was one other team.
I think I don't know who they're going to get in return. Obviously, you would have to think De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, that's
which would be a great piece. Mm-hmm. He's someone that definitely needs to get out of Sacramento because he's such a great player that I feel gets overlooked because he's on one of those small market teams that's not necessarily going places.
Dude, he was making he was almost borderline like MVP status for like a good.
That's what I'm saying. Like he definitely gets overlooked. Him and Buddy Hield.
Yeah,
great players that on any other team
would
definitely be shining and get their shine, but they're on the Kings.
Yeah, and how do you feel about the way like Buddy Hield's narrative now? Because it almost seems like a lot of times people kind of write Buddy off as like either washed or not getting enough time in Sacramento. It's almost like a play by the ear kind of thing for some people.
I think to me, confidence in your team goes a long way.
Okay.
And I feel like there's only so much you can do, especially since you got drafted into this organization, that you come in, you go to training camp, and you realize, man, this team's not good enough to take me to where I need to go. Like he's getting into those prime years. Like I feel like he needs to try to go for a chip or at least a playoff run at this point. Like, and Sacramento's just not it for him or De'Aaron Fox. So it's time to make moves.
It feels like Sacramento.
Hopefully they do.
It feels like Sacramento's the kind of place right now where a lot of teams, like players, either just go to just move on or it just not like I can't recall the last time I heard Marvin Bagley's name in any conversation.
That's what I'm saying too. It's like where players go to get forgotten. That's why people are kind of worried about Cade.
Yeah.
He just wanted to be number one pick, but I don't know if he fully understands like what going to Detroit entails. But I respect the grind. Hopefully he really tries to put that team on his back and gets them somewhere. It's definitely a city that deserves it.
Man, and dude, speaking of Pistons, have you watched any of the Summer League at all or no?
I've watched bits and pieces, but I haven't caught the Pistons really.
So I've caught their game against.
I did see them versus Houston.
Yeah,
I had to tune in.
Yeah,
Just to see Green versus Cunningham.
That was
Yeah, for sure.
Green was definitely shaky at first, but he definitely got the better of at the end, like team.
Yeah,
But I think their
for
team
sure.
is just a lot more built. Actually,
It's the Rockets for sure.
yeah, exactly. And then the Trailblazers, they got so their team is stacked with vets. I don't even know how this happened, but apparently Michael Beasley is back on there.
I saw that as well. Yeah.
They got Kenneth Faried. It honestly feels like a throwback to like what 2015 NBA roster. Like,
Yeah. That's something we got to talk about as well. Like, Dame, is his time up in Portland?
It's crunching time.
Is it? Has he reached his ceiling there? Like, I don't know what your thoughts are.
Dude, so the interview he did at the end of the season, he was actually no, it was during the Olympics actually, and he asked the question like, "What more can we do?" Like it really sounded like to me he's fed up.
Yeah.
It's got to a point where it's like, all right, well, what are the next steps from here? And then to have Melo leave, to not really go after anyone in the off season, but expect to just run it back. I'm sorry, I think it's got to be close to getting done for him there. Where else is
it definitely it sounded like to me in that interview that he definitely lost faith in the front office.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know. Like I can only speculate, but I think them. I don't know if just them not trying to convince Melo to stay was probably big for him. Like that. That's a big piece. I don't know if people understand. Like for the Trailblazers, he definitely gave them a lot of energy.
He gave them energy.
Hit some tough buckets.
Exactly.
That was clutch. Like for being written off, like this man definitely proved he deserved to be in the league again. And I felt like that was a necessary piece for them for sure.
And it was
I don't know.
A person that got 15 off the bench. It took a little bit of the workload off of him.
For sure.
Dame.
And now it's like that guy's not there. Who do they have?
Like
they didn't sign. It's not like they signed anybody else. And that was his point. Like we lost players. We didn't gain any. Like so. Well, I really don't know. And I really think Portland's only chance was to trade CJ. Like and I know that would have made Dame unhappy as well, but that was their only chance to trade CJ for some high value players in return.
At least if it got them closer, if it was for something that got them closer to where they needed to be.
For sure, at least a conference final. Like.
Exactly, and he just knows like his time is coming. Like he's literally at his prime at this point. Like I don't want to waste more time.
I don't even know where I could see Dame. Like he can literally fit on any team, but it's just like Dame's one of those players where you get the feeling he doesn't like to team up as much. So it's like interesting to see. Does he go with the Knicks? Which would be an interesting fit. I don't know if he'd necessarily be any better off than the Trailblazers. Personally, he
will be in the East.
Yeah, but you got Kemba as well now.
Yeah,
so we got to see what happens. We got to see what happens there. But I think Dame definitely just needs to be on the East somewhere. I feel like that's. I think Sixers would definitely be a good spot for him. I think there definitely has to be some talks between Portland.
Sixers, Wizards playing him with Beal could be an option.
Sure.
They still.
I think Beal is another one that's gonna leave soon as well. He has to.
He's got to go. Wizards is not.
I respect these guys being loyal to their teams, but at the end of the day, like these teams and these front offices got to be loyal to their guys. Like this man, Bill, I feel like people underestimate how much he's been putting up these past couple, especially these past 2 years. Like ridiculous numbers. Like, going head to head with these guys who they think are like top players in the league, top five,
for sure.
Easily putting up numbers. Like,
and there was very little expectation for Bill coming out. Like not like this. No one. When he first got in the league, no one was expecting him to be dropping numbers like this.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of Jimmy. Not saying they're the same type of player, but like the expectation for them was both minimal, and look who they turned out to be. So I don't know. It's interesting to see.
So, how do you feel about Miami's chances? Because they got a couple of pieces now.
Listen, I like their core. Like Adebayo is definitely one of the centers that doesn't get talked about enough in the league. He's definitely I don't know what number he'd be. Definitely like top 5 for sure. Like you got the Joker, you got Embiid. You do got Cat.
Yeah, got AD.
That's what I'm saying. Like AD is definitely one or two easily.
To be completely honest, I don't know if I put. It's a tie for me between him and Rudy. To be
the top center.
Yep, it's a tie only because Rudy has the height, but the offense isn't there unless it's live.
Bro, I like Embiid, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I would take Embiid. Like, he's a dog too. Like, that's what I'm saying. I don't know how the Sixers fumbled this bag, bro. Like, how do you have Jimmy Butler on your team, and you just say like you talk him out the door? You were gonna get rid of Brett Brown anyway.
Yep.
But it felt like instead you chose Brett Brown for a year over a long-term superstar like Jimmy, who fit well with Embiid.
I think it was almost a total of like both wanting Brett Brown and choosing Simmons over choosing Butler.
Yeah, they fumbled the bag. But again, back to the Heat. Like, I like it, bro. I like that they picked up Lowry. Gordon will be mixed, obviously. Dragic, the GOAT.
But they do get Oladipo back. He's coming back this year.
I think it's like, which Oladipo do you get? That's like always the tough part. Like,
yeah, that's true. If they get OKC Oladipo, that's a good look.
Yeah, no, I really do hope he balls again, bro. Like, on the Patriots, he was a beast. So I hope. I think they can make it to the conference finals. I honestly do, but it's going to be hard. There's a lot of great teams in the East now. And this, even with Ben saying he does stay, I hope he doesn't. I think he deserves to be on another team to try to figure this thing out, because Philly fans are unforgiving. So I don't know. But just saying hypothetically, Ben does stay, like, that's a tough matchup for them as well. Like, we saw what happened. Greek Freak is going to come out there. He's like, bro, he won a chip. I'm sure he's not satisfied. He's going to try to get another one to prove that it wasn't a fluke. Him and Middleton are a great duo. So there's just
Holiday too.
That's what I'm saying. There's just so many teams like in the East in that picture now. I'm interested to see what the Celtics do as well. I don't know if they got better or they got worse. It's kind of
they kind of took a little bit of a step back. At least it doesn't seem like they were active in the offseason. They didn't really want anyone too crazy. Now they can still make moves. I'm not calling Danny Ainge. That man has worked wonders with that roster multiple times and found ways to pull Houdinis out of every single situation he's ever thought of.
Right.
So
as a Bulls fan, honestly, I thought there was three scenarios. I really thought we were going to lose Zoe to the Celtics because I had a feeling like Kemba was going to leave.
Yeah.
Especially after the season he had. Like, I just thought he was either going to go to the Celtics. He wasn't going back to the Lakers, despite everybody wanting him to. I feel like Lakers are one of those organizations that don't like to admit when they're wrong as well, like that. So they won't go back on their word. They said he couldn't be a point guard on the champion team. They're not gonna say that was false now. Like I thought it was the Celtics. I didn't think he was gonna go to the Heat. I really thought the Pelicans were gonna resign him. I really thought that was the number one choice, or he was gonna come to the Bulls. Which I'm glad he came to the Bulls, but.
Dude,
it was so close. I feel like it was all up to Lowry. So
that is such a good lineup. Like, I'm excited just to even see it.
For sure.
Chicago being good again is a great plus.
I think it's just great for the league, man. I'm so excited to see my team finally do something. Like, I feel like after we lost Butler, it was exciting because we got Levine, but it was just him rehabbing back, finally becoming the player he is now. It's like, all right, now that we got you, who can we pair you up with?
And y'all didn't lose much to get Lonzo. And that was the other thing, too.
No.
Most of the team.
No.
So
who do we give up? Garrett Temple.
Garrett Temple and a couple picks.
And, Satoransky.
Yeah. I believe. Which, I mean, that's a great defensive piece, but Lonzo doesn't play bad defense, so it's not like.
Yeah, the only piece I was upset with was the veteran presence of Thad. We gave up for DeRozan, obviously, but Thad really did a lot for us last year. And I was excited to see him do more.
So the five, at least I'm picturing off the top is either they're gonna go with Lonzo.
Kobe's definitely coming off the bench for sure.
Yeah, I think Kobe's coming off the bench, which is a great point guard to have coming off the bench, regardless.
Yeah, for sure.
Easy
He's more
point
shooting guard style though, but like
Exactly.
I like it though. Like I for the extra points that you need, for sure.
Exactly. And having Levine, having DeRozan, you could either alternate either one. You could have Lowry come off the bench, or you can not have him come off the bench and play the floor. You could have Vucevic probably plays more of the 5 than anything else.
For sure.
It's like that's a solid lineup all the way around.
But I think Lowry's unhappy. I think still he still wants to go.
For sure.
I don't know why now. He got what he wanted. He wanted a team, but I feel like I don't know what's going on with him in ownership.
So he went from being like the first option for 1 year, then being the second behind Levine, and now he's not even.
So you think it's Zach's success that kind of threw him off a little bit? Like,
no, I think it's more like at the end of the day, you want to make a name for yourself in the league, and I think that's what it's
sure.
He's gonna want to. He's gonna want to.
But I think any team he goes to, I don't think that's going to be the case anymore. I don't. He has to prove he can be healthy. I think that's the first step in Lloyd's transcendence if he wants to be great. But you have to prove your health.
That is very true.
And he hasn't been available to get better. Like, if that makes sense. Like, Levine was available to get better.
And it's almost he's had the same problems that Porzingis has been having.
That's a great analysis. That's like who I think of when I think of
every single time.
Marketing. I think of Porzingis.
They are literally a very similar type player, but for whatever reason, they just can't stay healthy. If they do, once they are playing and they're healthy, they're a whole different dynamic.
Amazing, bro. Yeah, for sure.
They can never just.
I don't know.
And to be honest, I'm 3 years. If Dallas keeps the core the way they got it with J. Kidd coaching, the West is looking a little scary, bro. Because
you think there's been talks though. You think Porzingis is gonna stay?
I think they're gonna make a solid pitch because both Cuban and J. Kidd have always played.
They're saying, I forget what they were saying. I think there was reports that him and Luka aren't as close as they.
Yeah, it doesn't.
As everybody thinks. Like,
I
guess Kristaps thought he was going to be more of a 1 than a 2 for Luka, but Luka's definitely the 1. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of him realizing that he's not the focal, and also there's a lot of times like towards the end of games, like balls in Luka's hands 24/7. That's not changing. And if
no, as it shouldn't.
Yeah, of course it's not. It's not going to. But Porzingis is more of like second quarter focal point versus fourth quarter focal point, and that's probably where he's hitting his wall. Because you go for, and again, it goes down to ego. You go from being the guy in New York, come to Dallas. You think you're going to be the next Dirk in Dallas,
right?
And it don't play out that way. It hits you some type of way, and at the end of the day, man, we're all human. The egos is real. The egos is definitely real. Yeah. And I feel like it's gonna come down to if he's gonna accept being that secondary role or if he's just gonna be like, nah, I want more.
Yeah. Last thing I want to touch on is the NBA leagues. I don't know if you got any more you want to touch on, but New Orleans, like, there's been talk Zion's a little unhappy. I can't really see if that happens. I can't really see BI staying too long. Nah. I'm just interested to see what happens, I guess. Because I feel like BI would definitely be a great player on any other team. Like, he's just that kind of player. Like the athletic skill set this man has. Like, I feel like the only person we've seen, and I'm not even trying to compare him to his greatness, but it's like KD with that reach and his ability to shoot over defenders like that. So I don't know, man.
It's one of those things where, first off, I don't know how New Orleans even lets things get to this point where not only your best player, but your number one pick that you only just got like last year isn't happy with your organ. Like, how does this happen?
And I'm not a person that believes in this small market, big market. I really just believe it's really how you treat your stars. Like, I feel like, and it showed like New Orleans really didn't give much to AD. They gave Boogie, which was great. That wasn't enough to win a chip. Like you didn't give him a good caliber of a point guard. You didn't. There was so many free agents when AD was in New Orleans. Like I just feel like they missed
nothing. But
and I feel like they're doing the same thing to Zion now. They're kind of like breaking up the team. I mean, there was talks like he wanted Zoe to stay.
Yeah.
They didn't necessarily get that done. I'm sure he's unhappy about that, but everyone wants him to kind of be that point forward position where they're trying to put the ball more in Zion's hands as he comes downhill. I don't know how it's gonna work. I don't know.
And it's almost, I honestly feel like it goes back to even Chris Paul days where they always put veterans around him and older guys, but it never really was enough to get them over that hump. And with Zion, it's like they've changed coaches every single time now with him. And
I just feel like they're doing the opposite of Chicago. Like Chicago's finally doing right now where they built that young core and they're building upon it now. Like Zach has reached the level where he's reaching his prime. So they're giving him players that are kind of on the same timetable. And I feel like they're not doing that with Zion. They're kind of like he has BI, which is on the same timetable, obviously, but no one else. Like they got rid of JJ. I was kind of confused about, which I'm not mad about. Maybe they didn't need that, but I mean that's just a great score off the bench, I think.
And that's where I'm kind of wondering.
I would think he'd be a hot commodity. I don't know.
Well, I think he signed with Dallas for 1 year.
Yeah.
I don't think he
kind of took a year off, he said, because of COVID. I believe. From watching his podcast, I believe that's what he said.
Yeah, I gotta actually tune more into his podcast because I hear nothing but good things about it.
Yeah.
The main ones I've been wanting.
It's just it's interesting to see. I'm interested to see even with like COVID picking up again, like what's gonna happen. Maybe we'll get another maybe everyone will be in Orlando again. We'll get the bubble part too. That was some great basketball. I'm not mad if we get a bubble. I'm sure the players would hate it, but
if we got a full NBA season in the bubble with all teams though, almost like AAU style basketball, like
there's gonna be some teams people sleeping on. That's that. That might make it to, the playoffs at least. So,
can see.
So how you? No, go ahead.
No, so I was gonna say I can see Atlanta making it pretty far in a bubble situation with.
For sure, Atlanta's gonna make it far regardless.
Oh, for sure.
If their stars are happy, that's all that matters, man. John Collins, Trae Young, both got hefty deals.
Yep.
Which I think is great by the organization. They should have done that. They should have kept both of those players together. Just build around those two, and I think they're solid.
Exactly. Capella's still there for another 3 years.
Lou Williams signed again, I believe, right?
Yeah. Lou Williams re-up. I mean, he always wanted to be in Atlanta. I mean, he's never.
You know what I'm saying? Magic City Chicken Wings.
Exactly. He ain't never leaving. So.
What my man like Magic City Chicken Wings.
They got it for a while. And plus, they got the young pieces. Everybody that they had read up for a good while on rookie deals. They all stepped up in the playoffs. It was never. I honestly felt like some games they could have pulled it out against.
Well, I was not surprised. I don't want to use that word, but it was definitely stunning to see how far they went. Like I didn't expect them to beat some of the teams in the game sevens that they beat. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it was just wild.
No one guessed them beating the Knicks. Not even the Garden was real mad.
Bro, they beat Philly, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
How? I was so confused, bro. Like the matchups just didn't make sense to me.
Nope.
Ben Simmons on Trae. Like Ben should have been able to like go downhill just like we talked about Zion. And then you got Embiid on Capella. Like that's a no-brainer.
But
just
again,
didn't work.
It goes back to
all the other players stepped up. Like
it goes back to me, honestly. I feel like you have a Ben Simmons that's at least aggressive. You don't even got to shoot jump shots, just aggressive offensively. I think that series goes a lot differently. But Atlanta pulled it out. Like, I'm not going to take anything away from Atlanta. Trae Young was always clutch in the fourth again in that series. It seemed like the Philly just couldn't buy a bucket, though, when it came to the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough, definitely, Philly. But how you feeling about football this year? What's your
Well, actually, my
outcome
Patriots,
prediction?
my Patriots did have a game today. We weren't
Right.
we weren't looking too smooth. We weren't looking too smooth, but
It's all good. This talk's like how you feel Cam's gonna do. You know,
I'm always a
there's
big
all this
fan.
talk about him getting that full training camp, seeing what he could do. COVID slowed him down. I'm interested to see. Like I really am rooting for Cam. Like I really just hope.
It's hard not to with Cam because
Right.
the man has gotten so much criticism. He's gotten so much conversations about
Unfair criticism. I
Exactly.
feel.
being him being a prima donna and him doing all this. But at the end of the day, man, he's always left it on the field. There's never been an issue of what Cam can do on the field. Like no one's ever doubted or questioned that. So this is his opportunity to really show that in a system that, granted, is hard for anybody to learn. Like nobody can just run it, but it's now tailored to him. Because even last year, it wasn't really tailored to his specifications at that point. It was still kind of like we were kind of making it up as we go along. And also Bill knew the season was not really, it wasn't what we were expecting it to be as far as players. We had almost half of our defense not play because of COVID. Like we weren't going to go well, but you know, it is what it is. But I mean, I can't go against Tom Brady. So I feel like
for sure.
Go for a chip again.
That's how I feel. NFC is crazy.
Dude, and
so many great teams in the NFC, but I'm excited for my Giants. I feel like it's a make or break season for us.
For sure.
I know a lot of people are just like, we're not going to go far, but I mean, we picked up some great pieces for Danny, and I feel like at the end of the day, if he doesn't perform, then we know it's a quarterback issue. We got to address that concern. So
exactly,
I think this is a make or break season for him. I think Saquon's going to have a great season this year. I'm just happy offensively because we're already building the defense up. We picked up some great additions to the cornerback position. We already had a great linebacker core, and our defensive ends have always been pretty solid. So, and we added some additions to that as well. So, our defense last year was great. It was our offense that.
Well, once Saquon
I'm excited.
It changed everything. Saquon going down was
for sure. But it's also, man, we didn't really have no weapons. Like we had.
That's true.
You think about it, like what wide receiver do we have? We had.
That's true.
I mean Shepard, but Shepard's not a. I'm sorry to say that Shepard's not a premier wide receiver. Like
okay. Do you feel like he's more like
he's a? Yeah, I feel like he's a great. I don't know. He's a great 2. Like he's a great 2.
Okay. But
I don't think he's that 1. You know what I mean? Like he was great with Odell there because I feel like Odell took a lot of pressure off of him. I feel like it's kind of the Juju effect that we're seeing. Like Juju was a great 2 when Antonio was there, but we kind of saw when Antonio left, like he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Until Claypool came, and it's like, okay, we're seeing him become that 2 again.
It's a different feel once you have the defense actually set up to stop you.
Designing traps for you, and you know what I mean. So I think it should be interesting now. I feel like also our wide receiving core now allows defenses to. I mean, they're still going to plan for Saquon. Don't get it messed up, but I feel like it allows them takes a little bit of heat off of Saquon. So
my biggest,
I'm just excited.
My biggest.
I don't think we're winning our division though.
So, and here's my thing with you guys. Every single time that there's a year that I feel like y'all about to do absolutely nothing, that's the year that you come out and do something. That's the time.
Always.
And that's when I'm like, you know what? I don't even try and call you guys season no more. I just kind of let it rock out because, especially with like, I forgot this guy's name. The guy you guys just picked up, and what's his name? I know I'm bugging. It's the guy you guys just picked up in the draft, and I can't remember his name. I'm trying to see if I can find him. But the one thing that you guys do is y'all draft well. Y'all really do draft well.
For sure.
And once that plays into a fact, and once they start planning out and panning out to what they need, that's when it opens up for you guys. Like as far as coming out the gates, no one really paying attention. You hit teams off by storm. And in football, it just takes one game. It's not like basketball where you got to have win 4 games out of the 17. It's one game, time you can knock out a team. And that's what's really scary about football because it's any given Sunday. No matter what, it's any given Sunday. So
that's why I love football, though.
Exactly, and
it's like anybody's chance
for sure. And with the Giants, it's always a really big just throw out there like, all right, we can be on our P's and Q's, but this team will sleep up on you if you're not ready for it.
For sure. Like, I definitely think we'll be in the hunt for first.
For sure.
I think we'll more so be, like, hunting for a wild card spot. I feel like Dallas will take first. As much as it pains me to say. It's just the experience. Hopefully Dak comes back a fraction of what he was.
Yeah.
That's my thing, though. Every other team's kind of figuring out their identity, I feel like, still.
That's true.
So the Eagles, it really depends. Not to put all the pressure on them, but it really depends how Jalen Hurts comes out.
That's true. And if there's two teams that I can never count on, it's the Eagles and the Cowboys. I'm sorry to say it, but
sure.
I'd never count on them doing what they need to do. I am so rooting for Dak. I hope Dak comes back 100% because that man deserves every bit of what he's done in this league because no one ever counted him.
You know the person I was rooting for, bro? I was rooting for Carson in Indianapolis, and this man got hurt again, so I don't know what's going to happen, man. There's talks of apparently Indianapolis bringing in Nick Foles.
Really?
I think that's crazy. I think that's going to – I mean, if I'm an organization, I'm not thinking about my players' egos, but
that's
but I feel like that's going to hurt Carson's, obviously.
Yep, that's going to hurt.
You bring in Nick again.
Like
so that's something they're gonna have to consider, but
we got to talk about it because the one guy I will say I think this NFL season is all for right now, Aaron Rodgers. That man is gonna play on a mission to just literally shout.
I think it's gonna come down. I think it's gonna come down to him and Tom again, if I'm being honest.
Yep.
In the NFC, like I don't know if they'll necessarily play each other. I mean, hopefully we get that great playoff matchup. I know it's very rare between those two. We got those moments, but I hope we can get one more between them. But I don't know, man. It's tough. It's tough. It's going to be tough to throw off Tampa. Like they really resigned everybody.
They didn't
again. It's going to be the same team pretty much.
They didn't skip a beat. I think they even re-signed Antonio Brown too.
Yeah, they did. Antonio Brown got re-signed, which is crazy to me.
He
definitely took less money. Like,
yeah, he did.
He definitely could have got more money after this season.
Yeah,
but at this point, he wants another ring. I don't blame him.
It honestly feels like everybody joining the Lakers at this point because they just know.
Bro, I think this is worse than the Lakers, bro.
Oh, probably,
like,
honestly.
Bro, you
honestly,
you got. I feel like people sleep on AB. Like, you got. First of all, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer before he joined Tampa. Just with his run with Big Ben in Pittsburgh, like
for sure,
he definitely was at the time like the premier wide receiver. Everyone was playing catch up, even Odell at the time, Antonio Brown, and you added him, and it seems like even if he's a couple steps slower than what he was, that's still better than most premier wide receivers in the league.
And to have him
with Mike Evans and like he's not even the first option. That's crazy.
And then,
got Goodwin still.
Yep.
It's interesting, man.
And a good offensive line. Tom was never really rushed at all last season.
No.
And that's the biggest thing. If you can knock him off a spot, then at least you got a chance. But when you got Tom just sitting out there picking you apart, it's never going to go well. But football season this year is going to be a fun one to watch. And
I'm excited for it.
What's up?
No, I was about to ask how you feel about baseball this year. I know our Yankees aren't doing so well, aren't performing, but I don't know.
Man,
hopefully these new signees bring a new life to us, and maybe we can make a run for that wild card spot.
So I'm hoping we can get into a wild card position before we even get people healthy. Because right now we got our
a lot of players on IR.
Our IL roster is good enough to beat a lot of teams in the MLB right now. So we're getting Kluber.
I was so
back.
sad when I saw Gleyber go down, bro.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
Gleyber went down. We're getting Kluber
That's our luck.
So We get Kluber.
The
we
part
get
that I'm still trying to comprehend, bro, is like, I get it. We picked up a first baseman, and I feel like part of it was because we didn't want. I mean, first of all, he's one of the best options, Anthony Rizzo, in the league. But I feel like we also it was slightly petty. Like we just didn't want Boston to get Anthony Rizzo. Like if we could both disagree on this, like for sure, it was definitely a slight pettiness.
It was a power.
But we were not even in the conversation for Anthony Rizzo. It was definitely like Boston. A couple of teams, no Yankees, and then all of a sudden I see on my ESPN app like Yankees acquire Anthony Rizzo, and I was like,
That was. Just,
I'm excited, but this is slightly petty.
Yep, it was solely to keep him away from Boston. It wasn't, and to be honest, I mean the ask wasn't high. We didn't give up much to get him.
The Cubs were giving away their team. Let's just be clear.
I mean, at this point, we probably could have got Chris Bryant too. To be honest. If we really had stretched it and didn't want Joey Gallo, that would have been an option right there. But
I like Gallo though. I like that pickup.
Joey Gallo has been.
I feel like he fits very well into our lineup.
Not only that, Rizzo was like his plays at first base. It's honestly looking scary.
Golden Glove for sure.
It's looking scary for Luke Voit. I'm not gonna lie, because
that's the part I was gonna mention. Like. I was a little bit confused because how well Luke was playing though before he got hurt, and I just feel like he's coming back, and now it's like he's DH again when he could easily start on any other team. Like he was at points, especially last year, like running for that MVP spot.
So he was. It almost seemed like they were kind of covering their bases because it seemed like he couldn't get healthy this year.
Yeah,
but at the same time, I mean, like you said, he was on his track where it was looking like he was coming back almost MVP status. Like he wasn't skipping a beat, but that team. So we needed that lefty punch.
What do you think happens? We're obviously not getting rid of Anthony Rizzo, so it's like I thought we were put him into another position, or do we move him?
I think. We're gonna have to try and so what they're trying to do with the lineups and at least what it looks like a scary lineup right now is having Stanton in the outfield with Rizzo, Judge, having if they everybody else gets healthy, having GL play third, having Glaber at short, LeMahieu at second, Rizzo at first, Sanchez when he's hot at home. If he's ever in his spot.
Sanchez another one, bro. Sanchez another
he's
one.
So up and down, bro. It's.
I was surprised. I really thought we were gonna move Sanchez. I'm not gonna lie.
I think
there was points where I just feel like I don't know. There's times where he plays and I'm like, bro, there's no better catcher in the league, and there's times where it's like, bro, get this guy out of New York, bro.
Yeah. And I think they're trying to wait.
Gary.
And they're trying to wait for those times. I think when he is hot, that's when I think they're going to try and move him. Because at this point, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's been helping this year, and I love Gary Sanchez. I hope he does get it right, and he becomes the player we all know he can be. But it's not consistent enough, and for a Yankees team,
well, catcher is so important, bro. Exactly. And we know this, bro. Like. Especially to live in the shadows of some of the greats in the past. We had Jorge Posada, bro. Like
to live in the shadow of Jorge Posada, the greatest catcher we've had the privilege of seeing in our lifetime, anyway.
For sure,
you can't help but want to have that same excellence. And then, of course, we did have Russell Martin. He wasn't the greatest, but he was a great defensive catcher. So to have somebody that's constantly having pass,
I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I feel like we're taking a lot of steps, but it's like some steps that we know are obvious. Me and you know are obvious. Like if there was a chance that we could have done what LA did for Washington, like why didn't we pull the trigger? Like why couldn't we get some all-star caliber pitchers on our team?
Not only
instead of unnecessary, like we didn't need Rizzo as great as he is, but like.
We didn't.
We could have went for some pitchers for sure. And it's just like frustrates me sometimes.
That's what we were going to do with once we did get Rizzo. I thought we were looking to move Voit for a pitcher, and then when it didn't happen,
I wouldn't have been mad at that either.
I wouldn't have been because at least all right, cool. We
LA looking like the Lakers.
bro, and
The Dodgers looking at like the
you get
Lakers.
Trey Turner on top of the fact of getting Max Scherzer was the biggest power move I've ever seen a team do that already has
Two Washington's greats. Like how do you move both of them, bro?
like how did you even pull this off and then still have the wherewithal to be like, all right, we're still gonna make a run and still have like that team is just I don't know how the Dodgers do it every year where they can pull a rabbit out out the hat.
I was surprised when they got Mookie. I remember that
that's what I mean.
offseason. I was like, oh my gosh,
I
Mookie
didn't
to
even
LA.
think Mookie was even on the table for Boston at that time. Like,
I'm sorry, that was like, I know I hate Boston, but like,
it was a power move.
if I was like even looking as a Yankees fan, I'm like, bro, how did Boston do this? Bro?
Thank you.
Like, bro, you moved like your main piece, one of the greatest outfielders in like our generation of watching. He's like, all right, bye. And he wins a chip. Like,
it was the weirdest thing I've ever seen, but I can also say the same thing about Washington. I never expected them to trade both Scherzer and Turner. So it's crazy what the Dodgers have been able to do and how they've been able to do
I feel like they got what they wanted though.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, the Nationals. Like they got the chip.
Yep.
So maybe that's just what they're looking for now.
Yeah, they're rebuilding.
What we got to talk about is Bryce. Like, I know Bryce was in his feelings after that, but
bro,
like the year they trade you to Philly, they move you to Philly.
They won a championship.
You were like, well, not even moved you to Philly. You moved yourself to Philly.
Yep.
You didn't want to be in Washington anymore, and they won a chip. Like,
it makes
insane.
A problem, and
that's the beauty of baseball. That's why I love baseball. Like, you never know what's gonna happen, bro. Like, there's someone in the minors or someone waiting for that spot that's just as good. Like, I never expected Glaber to be what he was on our team. And Duhar, when he came in, I expected Duhar to be what he was. That's another like. Where is Aaron Duhar, man?
And Duhar's hurt. I mean, not actually. I think he's COVID. I think he's on the COVID list. Along with, I think he went on the COVID list around the same.
That's
time.
another piece I'm expecting. Like we just move.
I think we're actually going to move Clint Frazier because he's coming back soon. So they're probably.
You think we're going to move Clint?
I think he's going to most likely get moved.
Bro, Clint. I said this last year. Like Clint deserves to start, even if it's not for us. Like, he's that caliber of a player, I believe.
So
he does some amazing things, especially when he's on the field for us.
On the field,
like, he like somehow, like I feel like it's not expected, but he somehow just like turns the team to his. Like it's like when Clint's out there, it's like it's Clint's team almost. I don't know why.
He almost gets all the criticism and all the eyes as if he's the captain of the team already.
Yeah,
that's the crazy part too.
He'll be a great asset to any team that picks him up.
For sure. And
I hope we just get some pieces for him.
That's what I was about to say. If we flip it over for pitchers, then I'm cool with it. But at the same time, I know down the road, Clint Frazier is going to be. He's not going to just be another guy on the team. He's going to be a star. On the team.
So you don't think we're going to flip in Duhar then?
I don't think so. Just because I don't think there's.
So you think
there's enough?
He's not going to play. He's not going to start then.
Nah, he's not going to start. He's most likely going to just be a piece on the side.
I feel like Gio took his spot.
Yep. Gio's definitely Gio's came in and swooped that spot up.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. I felt like as soon as I saw him go down and Gio stepped in, I'm like, oh, it's like we never missed him.
No,
as weird as that sounds.
Gio's been Golden Glove status over in third.
Yeah,
what they're trying to do.
Interesting. There's a lot of interesting like pieces
to it,
and players that I hope we can transform. Like Voit, I feel like he deserves to start. He has to go.
Oh, for sure. And there's going to be a team that's looking for a lefty with power, first base.
For sure.
It's
decent first base ability. Yeah,
exactly. But I will say I don't want to be Brian Cashman and trying to figure this out because
you definitely don't want to trade within in our division. I wouldn't even want to trade within our league, bro.
Because no matter what, I mean, Tampa's coming up. You got the Blue Jays once they figure.
Imagine him going to the Blue Jays. That's what I'm saying. Like even if he goes to the Blue Jays, like
once they figure.
I don't want to see Voit all these times, bro. Like
I never do.
No,
never do.
Send this man away, bro.
get him at least Colorado. Send him somewhere where we ain't got
Yeah, he
to
got
none of that. But that team is going to be, and man, baseball this year has been weird with all the COVID. I think literally almost every
they've
team
been hit big.
after COVID. It's been crazy.
It's so many players though and staff. That's the thing about baseball. Like,
Yeah,
it's impossible. And a lot of stadiums, you know what I mean? Like they were letting full capacity. It's just, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
just putting the players at risk, but
it's still Texas was at full capacity early
from the beginning.
they've been full capacity almost all season.
As soon as fans had an inkling that they were allowed back, I'm pretty sure Texas was like full capacity.
Open. I think the only other team that has been slightly, I think actually Toronto might not still be in Toronto. I think they're still playing in Florida right now.
In Tampa, yeah, they're still in Tampa.
Playing in Florida.
Or Clearwater.
Yeah, I think it's Clearwater. I think they're not too far from Mark. So yeah, they're somewhere in Clearwater, which is crazy to think about. That I think also the Raptors are looking at possibly still playing in
Florida,
in Florida, or going back. But with COVID,
I mean, it's just Canada. I don't think Canada's open yet.
Yeah, Canada's not really allowing that travel. I don't know how hockey's doing it, because I think hockey, they are back in Canada, which is weird. But I'm not too versed on hockey myself, so I can't talk about it. So
I don't know enough about hockey, but I just know that there was a new franchise team, Seattle.
Really?
Which I was like kind of watching that little draft. It was pretty interesting.
Really?
Yeah. Seattle got their own NHL team now.
Hopefully that means we might be getting the Supersonics back someday.
Maybe. Nice. No, they took Supersonics arena.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. They transformed it into
a hockey.
I'm not even familiar with the team. I think Seattle Kraken. That's the new NHL team.
Wow. Okay.
So
that sucks.
It's interesting. I don't know much about hockey. I just know, I guess, if I fall under a category, I'm a Devils fan. But
yeah, of course. I mean, that's the only team we got. Yeah. That's the only team Jersey got.
I don't know much about them besides Subban. So
that's true. Which I'm still happy we got at least a person of color in the world.
Absolutely, yeah. I don't know if you saw. There's a documentary coming out about hockey.
Yeah.
About African Americans apparently, like
I think
their footprint in hockey, which I'm not even aware of. Honestly, I just know about like a few NHL stars that were African American, but I don't know about them having a foothold in the startings of hockey.
Is that on Netflix? I thought it was on Netflix.
I'm not sure where it comes out. I saw like, I don't know if it was Drake or LeBron. I think it might have been Drake. I think he producing it or something with like LeBron and that. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm misspeaking, but I know they got some big producers like that. I know it's some artists. I'm pretty sure it is Drake though.
So I'm gonna talk about it because this one, dude, Malice in the Palace documentary. Did you get to watch it?
I didn't yet. I didn't get to watch it, bro.
Brother, that documentary is.
I was watching the All the Smoke episode though.
Okay.
With Ron and he like touched on it a little bit.
Yeah, so Ron is at a space now where he's kind of he's accepted like how he reacted in the situation and how he reacted after. He's expressed like some remorse.
But I think Steven Jackson and Jermaine O'Neal still kind of feel like they were done wrong.
They feel.
Which I agree. I don't really know enough about it. Like obviously we were little, but I just remember I remember saying it on like ESPN and all this stuff.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy because when you actually get to see it, and I can't wait for you to watch it because it's literally its perspective of like you really get to see and you see it break down how things kind of changed as far as in the media and what actually happened and the breakdown.
Right.
Even when you think about the dynamic at that time, this is early 2000s. Like Black culture is still kind of in a flux of like hoodlums, rap culture, not being widely accepted. So you
Fat Bob, it just came out like
exactly.
Yeah.
So it was still around that time of like, whatever Black people do is under a microscope. So it turned from basketball being this new big thing And now all of a sudden it's like this big brawl at the palace. Now everything is like it's switched up.
There's this label, this stigma on the NBA again.
So everything was mislabeled, and they start showing everything in the light of like, you know.
It's interesting though, because I feel like we still live in a day and age where we still kind of look at these athletes as like holier than thou. Like they're human beings and they still make mistakes, and we still hold them to this high standard just because we pay them a lot of money. We don't even pay them; the owners pay them, but a lot of these people in comments think like they pay them.
Exactly.
So weird. This dynamic, but I'm interested to see it just to see the perspective. I did see Steven Jackson. I believe Jermaine O'Neal was on the All the Smoke episode, and they were talking about it. He was talking about how his family had basically, I guess he had went through a period where his daughter even like wasn't talking to him.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
His young daughter, just because how she was seeing him on TV, like she perceived him as something else than he was. That's how they were making it out to be.
Not even just that, but and the only weird thing I will say about it, you had almost everyone from the incident in the actual documentary. The only thing you don't get too much perspective on the Pistons side of everything. You do get.
I wish they had the fans. I don't know.
They do. They have all the fans.
They have the fans in there.
They have all the fans.
In the documentary.
Yeah, everybody that was involved.
Awesome.
They have the guy that threw the water bottle. They have the guy that was on the court, that ran out on the court.
Right.
One other guy that they had too. I can't remember who it was. They don't have the person that Ron like actually went up to the stands and started fighting. They don't have him because he wasn't actually the one that threw the bottle.
He was the one that tried to sue, though. I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he kind of had a right.
I wouldn't expect him to be in it.
Yeah, he kind of had a right to sue though, but he wasn't in it. But
he didn't even sue Ron though. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
He was trying to sue Jermaine O'Neal.
Really? Okay, I thought it was the other. That's weird.
Nah, I'm not sure.
Wait, so you might be talking about?
I thought so though.
Yeah, so there was a guy that tried to sue Jermaine, but that was the guy that was on the court.
Okay.
So you'll see that in the documentary. He's a little bit out there. Like that guy's a little off, to be completely honest. But the only person
it's Detroit, man. It's Detroit, man.
But the only person you can get to speak from the Pistons is Ben Wallace, which was surprising to me because Ben Wallace didn't even go in the stands, but Rasheed Wallace did, and he didn't even.
I think maybe they showed Ben because the initial incident kind of started from Ron Artest and Ben. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like them having the beef or whatever they had before going at each other. Maybe, I don't know. It shouldn't rile up the fans, but it did. It's entertainment.
So my thing was, it did. I can't wait for you to watch it because once you watch it, you'll kind of see how things kind of broke down, and it never really got to the point where like it wasn't like Nuggets Knicks brawl at the Garden, like everybody was amped up, jumping on top of each other. It was kind of like it broke up and it pieced out at a certain point, and then the bottle got thrown. It wasn't like stuff built up to that. It just was a random moment where somebody just threw something, and that's what really started everything.
So it was kind of like just like the perfect storm, almost like it was just
all the way. And I mean, at the end of the day, like it's Ron Artest. You don't need much to get Ron going.
I feel like it's kind of like how hip hop is. That's how basketball is looked at. Like they're just looking for that one mistake, like in society. Like, and I feel like that's what that incident was, and it took a lot of repairing.
Exactly. And it hurt not only.
But I don't think the punishments was too fair, man.
So, criminally wise, they didn't really hit any punishments as far as for the justice system.
I'm talking about NBA wise, like they really
NBA wise. That's where they got
checks without money. You know what I mean? Like,
and not only that, it also cost Reggie Miller his one chance at a title.
True.
So, it really ended up not only hurting that team and those players significantly, but you heard a legend. Like that was Reggie's last year. 5 months later, he retired.
Yeah.
It's like that was the biggest gut-wrenching punch for somebody that literally has given his heart to Indiana and the league.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying
one of the last of them. One of the last
exactly
like superstars that gets drafted and really like sticks it out, bro.
So it was a hurtful moment, and you really feel that in the documentary. Like you really get to see it.
The NBA known for that. Like the one I don't know if you've seen All the Smoke. There's like been a lot of great episodes by them, but the one that really stuck out was Chris Webber.
Oh yeah.
Where Chris was kind of talking about everything that transpired with Sacramento.
Yep.
And how he like really wanted to stay in Sacramento, and then they had traded him and Matt to Philly.
Yeah.
It was something like that, and it was like the worst like year of his life or something.
So I think when they went to Philly, it was that
Matt's mom had just passed.
Wasn't that around the time? That was after AI, if I'm not mistaken.
I think Bubba was still there.
Oh. Why am I thinking? No, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Because that was.
It was like one of his last seasons for sure.
Okay.
But he was still there.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
That's all I gotta double check. All right, cool. So then, I gotta rewatch that one then, because I don't think I'm remembering that right.
Yeah, the Chris Webber one of my favorite ones. The Kobe one, a classic, obviously. All the Smoke got some really good ones. The AI one, to me, AI was growing up for me. Like that was, how like that you idolized Kobe. Like AI was my idol growing up. Like that's really who I looked up to. You know what I mean?
Nah, and especially for where you were growing up, like.
Yeah, South Jersey, like 10 minutes away, 15 minutes away from Philly. It was just like, I remember those seasons too, bro. Like post AI, like Wells Fargo. I was actually in Susquehanna at the time.
Yeah.
Empty, bro. Like empty. I'm talking about like, bro, you can get courtside seats for like, I felt like $30 back then, bro, at Philadelphia. Like it was crazy. All we had was that's what Dad was there.
Yeah.
Dad. You know what I mean? That young team. That's crazy though to think Dad's still in the league.
Dude, he's been in his. I think it's just him left from that team too. I think Drew Holiday was on.
Now you got Lou. You got Lemon Pepper Lou.
Lou. You got Lou.
Lemon Pepper Lou.
Hey, that was early
City Lou. That's what I'm saying. We got Lemon Pepper.
Man, that's crazy. That's
Kyle. I don't know. Kyle officially retired. So
yeah, he officially retired.
I think so. He's a Nets development coach, I believe now. Yeah, that was breaking news.
Oh wow!
On House Highlights.
So then
just signed.
Dude, that's around the time when the Nets were trash. So we're going to Nets games for that shit. Still, when they were at the Izod Center. Well, I mean, I think at that point, Izod Center, but I mean that arena changed names almost as much as it changed jerseys. So
yeah, man.
But
I think that's it for this episode, bro.
Yeah,
I think we got it, bro.
I think this is a good first step.
Yes, sir. I'm excited for episode 2.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. We'll definitely have because I mean, we're gonna hope for some W's on these Travis ones, but
hey, I hope so, bro. These Travis lows, I don't even want them, bro. Hey, anybody that if I hit this W, anybody that went to resell hit my line, bro, I need a quick ban. You feel me?
Yeah, man. That's gonna be a major dub if I can get them. If I can get them.
Yes, sir.
But
hey, sneakers guys, let me hit on sneakers that one time, please.
Man, if my sneakers app don't work, I'm trading in the phone and get another one.
Hey, one of them, bro. I won't even be mad if I hit for the Pollins, please.
You're right. You was right. You was right.
Come on, man. Come on, dog.
It's got to be something. It's got to be something. One of these days, we'll try and do a We'll try and do. I think it'd be good if we try and do like a live sneaker cop. Try and see if we can get.
For sure.
Throw it out there, but I mean, it's up to the guys, like you said. So hopefully everything works out.
Sir.
Yes, sir. But this is for episode 1, and then we're gonna try for episode 2, bro.
All right, bro. Love.